As of December 2023, here are the 9 states that do not have any state income tax: Alaska, Florida, Nevada, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Washington, and Wyoming. Let's jump right into it. Alaska. America's largest state is also considered one of the most tax-friendly. When Alaska repealed its personal income tax in 1980, it began to tax companies involved in oil and gas production at high rates to generate revenue. Alaska's overall state and local tax burden is 4.6% as of 2022, the lowest in the nation. On the downside, Alaska is remote and expensive in other ways. U.S. News and World Report ranks Alaska an overall 40 out of 50 on its affordability list. Contributing factors include higher than average housing costs and a steep cost of living relative to median family incomes. Most residents can receive an annual stipend. The Alaska Permanent Fund dividend of $1,312, which might help offset some costs. Florida. This southern state is a popular retreat for vacationers and retirees alike. Florida generates most of its revenue from property taxes, highway tolls, and state university tuition. This makes for an overall state and local tax burden of 9.1% as of 2022. While the cost of living might not be a deal breaker for most people, Floridians may still have to contend with a competitive housing market and prices. U.S. News and World Report ranks the state at 41 out of 50 for housing affordability. Nevada. Nevada's overall state and local tax burden is 9.6% as of 2022, which is on the high side. Most of the tax burden is driven by sales and excise tax, including groceries and alcohol, and taxes on hospitality and tourism-heavy industries such as hotels and gaming. Nevada is routinely ranked at the lower end of the scale when it comes to affordability. U.S. News and World Report positions the state overall at 34 out of 50, with a particular nod to high housing costs. The property tax rates, on the other hand, are among the lowest in the country. New Hampshire. Unlike other states on this list, New Hampshire still taxes dividends and interest on investment income at a 4% rate. This rate will decrease to 3% in 2024, and the tax will be completely phased out in 2025. The state also doesn't impose sales taxes, but levies excise taxes on goods such as tobacco. According to the Tax Foundation, the overall state and local tax burden is 9.6% as of 2022, which is relatively low compared to other states. Where New Hampshire falls short is affordability, ranking 36 out of 50, and cost of living, ranking 39 out of 50. New Hampshire is also known for its relatively high property taxes. South Dakota. South Dakota, home to Mount Rushmore and Badlands National Park, is often lauded as one of the top locations for retirees. For affordability, U.S. News and World Report ranks it at 8 out of 50 nationally for its housing and cost of living scores. South Dakota's overall sales and local tax burden is 8.4% as of 2022. The state depends on sales and excise taxes to generate revenue, levying taxes on items such as tobacco, motor fuel, and alcohol. Homeowners might not love the effective property tax rate, though, which is higher than many other states. Tennessee. According to the Tax Foundation, Tennessee does impose a high sales tax, and it charges tax on items such as alcohol, beer, fuel, and even fantasy sports contests. Yet, its overall tax burden is 7.6% as of 2022, the third lowest in the country, behind Wyoming and Alaska. As for affordability, U.S. News and World Report ranks it an overall 14 out of 50. Texas. Texas is the second largest state in the U.S., and it's widely known for its go big or go home attitude. In fact, Texas's aversion to income taxes is so strong the ban is listed in the state constitution. The overall state and local tax burden is 8.6% as of 2022, making it one of the lowest in the country. However, Texas's overall affordability and cost of living rankings come in on the lower end, with U.S. News and World Report rating the state 33 out of 50 in both categories. Washington. Not only does the evergreen state not have income tax, it also doesn't impose a corporate income tax. This incentive is no doubt appealing to the many major corporations that have headquarters in the state. However, with the state's new WA Cares Fund, residents now see a deduction of 58 cents per $100 from each paycheck that goes toward a long-term care fund. The state also imposes a 7% long-term capital gains tax on assets sold for a profit of 250,000 or more. Washington's overall state and local tax burden is 10.7% as of 2022, which is relatively average. Where Washington falls short is affordability. It takes the 46th spot on U.S. News and World Report's affordability scale, with a high cost of living and high housing costs being the primary drivers. Wyoming. Wyoming is the least populated state in the U.S., with a total of 581,381 residents calling it home, according to 2022 census data. Because there's no individual or corporate income tax, the state relies on property, oil sales, and excise tax to generate income. Its overall state and local tax burden is 7.5% as of 2022, the second lowest in the country. Wyoming scores above average when it comes to cost of living and housing. U.S. News and World Report gives it an overall affordability rank of 18 out of 50. At the most basic level, living in a state with no personal income tax means that you'll get to keep a little bit more of your paycheck. And if you're currently living in a state with high personal income tax rates like California, it can seem tempting to pack your bags and book a one-way ticket to Washington. However, moving to a state without an income tax doesn't mean that you'll be excused from paying other taxes. Do your research and keep this in mind before you decide to move to one of these states. Thank you for tuning in today, and I hope you found this video helpful. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more informative tips on financial advice, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.